Hello, everyone, and welcome to the SIG Compute meeting. Pasting a link to the document in the chat. If you could add your name in the attendees list, that'd be great. Wow, we have a lot of people today. Um, is anybody new and wants to introduce themselves? All right. Um, we actually have no agenda, just one open floor item that I added. Um, it's a quick one. Uh, it basically says that we currently have one VEP targeted for 110 in SIG Compute. Isn't that great? Uh, more seriously, please, yeah, if you have a SIG Compute VEP, please add the SIG Compute SIG label so that we look at it in this meeting. So yeah, today we have one. Um, we can look at it after the agenda. Um, Ed, you got something you want to talk about?
I just wanted to raise it. I don't know if it's worth too much discussion here, but it's something that was seen on on tests, I guess. Some flags with the tests. It's related to I'll try to summarize it. When you change something on the VM, it reaches the VMI, right? And And then if there is a situation when you change something on the VM and then perform a second operation or a second change, that depends on the fact that the first change reached the VMI, you may get into a race if you're not checking that information passed on. So I think after seeing that and trying using the observed generation field to track it. I observed that it is not really working in the expected way for some of the fields. So I opened this issue. If you want to get into the details, we can, but or just read it and reach to me or next in the next meeting.
So not all VM changes make it to the VMI, right? Only the ones that
Yeah.
are uh, live updatable, and if the strategy is set to live update.
Yes, exactly. Yes, that's correct. Um, but for example, in this specific case, I can give you the scenario. The scenario was the affinity was changed, right? The affinity is hot pluggable, so it reaches the VMI. But the mechanism of checking the VM generation, we vs the observed generation, which is supposed to reflect the VMI is in sync, is not working because the observed generation does not take into account the affinity changes that so it's not like the solution is not the existing logic there is pretty broken, I guess, or its semantics are not as expected, we'll say. That's it. So it doesn't track. Usually, you will expect I'm changing the VM. I'm checking that uh, gener the generation uh, is equal to the observed one, and then I know that the VMI is in SIG. That's at least that was the intention, I guess. And but it is not working for the affinity. It works for other stuff. It is a bit odd, like I must say. It
Yeah,
also checks it. It's actually checking it based on the original VM configuration. It doesn't take into account any hot pluggable thing.
yeah. No, I agree with option A. We need to definitely need to bump. Um, generation there.
Yeah, the workaround today, for example, for the test that try to do this, like what they did, what they tried is to change the affinity and then do the trigger a migration. So what actually the workaround there was to just try to check if the affinity reached the VMI explicitly, which is not that nice, but they
Yep.
just checked it reached the VMI and only then they performed the second operation. And and hopefully we can fix it by asking them to just setting in the test that it just needs to wait for the generation to be in sync and that's it. Not to take care of what was changed.
Yep. I totally agree. It's a bug. I'm not sure if there's anything to do here in terms of triage, apart maybe assign someone, but I mean, someone would have to volunteer for that. Um, but yeah, thanks for raising this.
By the way, there was an interesting, when looking at this one, there was an interesting thing about the current mechanics is a bit odd. It uses some label or annotation, I don't remember. Okay, so it's like the VM controller adds a label to the VMI uh, manifest, and then the same VM controller reads the that annotation and updates its own status field. So I actually didn't understand why it needs to go through the VMI manifest. It's like a different thing, but it was not clear to me at least why it was done in these two steps. Like you could have done it directly. That's my point. But it's a side question.
Got it. Yep. Sounds like an oversight, to be honest. Um, okay. I see if you want to talk about your PR.
Hello?
Yep.
Okay, I see Surija is in this call. I think there's a ping that could require that requires like expertise about okay, so basically like this PR breaks backwards compatibility. I think I brought it in the last meeting too. And because this is alpha, I was told it's okay, but 1.9 fixtures need to be updated, and I'm not 100% sure how to do it. I asked Grok. Grok told me how, but I don't know how to verify that information. Uh, so as far as I understand, it's basically make generate updates this fixture file in API testing. You just use that to override the 1.9 fixtures, if I understand correctly. So it won't like unit tests won't fail for backward compatibility, and then you rerun the tests using the update compatibility tag. I think there's something. This is the message listed in like API serialization compatibility test reviewer's guide or something, some doc like that. So I I don't know, just wanted to like someone who knows how this works to explain if like this PR is correct, the change it makes is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
when you're right, the make generate updates the fixtures.
Okay, so then you just copy the files and like head the updated fixtures into 1.9.
Yes, yes.
And what would the consequences be for like does it completely make the unit test to make sure a newer PR doesn't break the API? Is like what are the risks with this?
So are these changes made manually or the generate command they made these changes?
So the generate command makes the fixtures in the head, but then
Yes,
I think you have to copy it to release 1.9 so unit tests stop complaining, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, and then the after round trip file, you just generate that with like, so you run make test with the updated compatibility fixture data passed in, just like this variable passed in? Or like, do you run go test? So,
Yes.
okay, so basically, like, Grok told me that you run this command, but I don't know how to verify that. If like, is this the right command to run?
Hey,
Yeah.
let me give you some background of on what is happening here. So basically, whenever we make an API change, there is this head directory on that reflects the API in on the main branch. The idea is that every release we keep three, right? So 19, 17, and 16. I forget the exact number, but we keep a certain number of previous releases. And what the test does is any API change, it will round trip the current master Go structs and encode and decode to the previous release YAML and JSON. The idea is that the Go structs and the API changes should be able to encode and decode previous releases so that we are always backward compatible.
Right. I understand the theory. I didn't understand the practice.
Okay, sorry. So basically what you have to do is are you figuring out this during release time or on the PR branch?
So this would be like on the PR, this would be for 1.10. So this is a breaking change with 1.9. So it's on main.
Got it. So you have to update uh, the head or main YAMLs first. Then if you run this command again, it will generate the after round trip fixes, and you have to copy that to the release branch.
So with the update compatibility picture data that generates the after round trip. So I
Okay.
understood the after round trip files was the confusing part because it's not generally there. The after round trip.
My
So I think that's only there for
understanding
the overriding.
my understanding is that it will only be there when there is a breakage.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to double check this, but that's all. Thanks.
Yeah, Srija, keep me honest, but my understanding is that after round trip is there for you to debug if there is a breakage.
Yes, yes. You're right.
Well,
And just
sorry.
for completeness, what is the API that we are breaking here with this change?
The API being broken is so live migrations added experimental migrations options. It's feature gate protected, and it's basically changing the type from a string to quantity.
Oh, I see. Okay, makes sense. Thanks.
And I think there are
Sorry, I was just going to say it's good to see that these tests are catching the breakages. And if you have any questions that is not clear, please start a thread on Keyword Dev so we can answer these questions. But I'm happy to see the breakage was caught here.
right. Sounds good.
Thanks a lot, Ale, for answering this. I'm glad to see you've brought the question here because, yeah, this is not my expertise there. So, um, yeah, I added a point to the open floor uh, that we need a host for next week's meeting or just cancel it. Itamar will still be out of office and I will be out of office. So, if anyone wants to volunteer, just, I don't know, send me a DM or whatever, and I'll give you the host code. Um, yeah. Other than that, let's look at the board. We have two now. to SIG compute VEPs. Lee and Barak, I think at least, yeah, Lee is in the call. I don't know if you want to talk about secure boot for ARM, Lee.
Yeah, briefly, it was something that was proposed for 1.9. It missed just because of the CentOS stream dependencies landing late, and then a Fedora image issue as well for testing. So I'm reproposing it for 1.10. There's a small VEF update already, yeah, that you're looking at. There's a bit of formatting change in there, sorry, but yeah, the bulk of it is talking about the guest image requirements for end-to-end testing. It's good. It needs Fedora 45 to be tested. Really, we can use Ubuntu potentially, but yeah, the GA for Fedora 45 I think is like the day before code freeze or something for 1.10, so it's a little bit awkward. But yeah, we can talk about that in the VEP. There's a PR that's pretty much done outside of this. So yeah, this is kind of the final thing to figure out, how to actually functionally test this as alpha as well, initially in 1.10. And yeah, and hopefully it's not that controversial.
There's a question in the chat, by the way, for Sreeja. Lee, wouldn't it be easier to create a Fedora 45 beta image rather than Ubuntu, which we've never done?
That would be lovely, but for whatever reason, Fedora don't sign the beta images. So the actual even within the guest, it still wouldn't work. You need the GA bits. I tried it with 44 previously, and initially that was the problem, and then with the GA, they were supposed to fix it and supposed to do like a complete release and everything, and they still got that wrong. In the implementation PR, there is a link to a blog post by one of the Fedora contributors that kind of sets out what exactly went wrong and everything. But yeah, unfortunately we can't test rawhide or any pre-release image as well.
Okay. I mean, I guess if we want tests, we don't have a choice but to do the Ubuntu image then, right?
Yeah, and we can potentially just go back in and change it over to 45 at code freeze or in RC or something like that potentially. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it would be nice to have some variety in test images. I'm not against it. Cool, awesome. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure we can make that happen in 110, right? Yeah, there was a second one, but I don't think Barak joined.
I can speak. I can say a few words about that. It's just a graduation from beta to alpha, nothing else. The web was already approved, so it's pretty clean and easy.
Cool. I'll CC myself. I'll probably just approve it if I mean, this is just a formality if the web PR was approved.
Yeah, it was approved, so we're pretty good to go there.
Cool. Yeah, Aurel had to leave, but he said he added some PRs that need attention, so that's more for us to look at. Let's see. Adding unit tests to vert.io. Lost this. Just moving code around. Cool. Yeah, I'll have a closer look at these three after the call, but they look very small and reasonable. If anybody can give them LGTMs, that would be great. And see if you have more to talk about. Can't hear you, Rasif.
Yeah, sorry, my mic was muted. So it's the same PR. I just wanted to put in the request, see if Sirija or Ale can look over this PR specifically for backwards compatibility. I don't want to break anything. Itamar already approved this PR, but I think at the time he approved this PR, like my PR description didn't mention all the nuances with the backward compatibility aspects. And then Itamar went out of office, so I wasn't able to like get further feedback from Itamar about this. So yeah, I think it should be fine. Based on like what I've looked over and what I think I talked to I brought this up last week too, so I think it's fine, but just if someone could look over it who understands the backward compatibility aspect better.
Yeah, sure. I'll take a look.
Thank you so much, Lee. All right, I think that's it for the agenda. Any last minute to compute? Nope. And does anybody have anything else they want to talk about for the last 5 minutes of this call? Great, sounds like a no. Well, thanks you all for joining. And yeah, again, please ping me on Slack if you'd be willing to run this meeting next week. Otherwise, I'll probably just mark it as canceled. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
So bye.